Welcome back to English 4.0, the radio show. Let's go! Intermediate. Welcome back, folks, to Class 81, the intermediate portion of the class. Now, as always, we're going to start with a review of what we were looking at in the last class. And I am going to spend some special time with the last part of Class 80 because we ran out of time. I got distracted. I was talking about lobster, and I got distracted. It's true. Lobster. How do you say that? Lobster. Do you remember that word of vocabulary? Lobster, which is langosta de mar. Or maybe bogavante. There's a difference as well, bogavante and langosta. But it's interesting that in Spain, I think the names for shellfish, right, mariscos, and the shellfish, you have different names that people actually know. But in English, we have crab, which is cangrejo, and there are different types of crabs, snow crabs and king crabs and these things. And then there's lobster, and there's shrimp, gambas, and different types of shrimp, and prawns. But really not, as we say, your average Joe. A normal person doesn't really know. I would say, this is my opinion, I think that an average English speaker doesn't know as many types of shellfish as the average Spaniard. When you go to the Galician restaurants and people know all this, oh, this is not that, it's something else. And I get confused because the vocabulary for this type of food is far more broad in Spanish than it is in English. Or at least the broad terminology is more widely understood by an average person, by average people, I should say, than it is in English. But anyway, lobster. I was talking about it yesterday, and here I am talking about it again. So I'm going to move on, finally get going before I use up all your time talking about lobster. So we were talking about whose. This is important, whose. So we were practicing with indirect questions. So you were giving me negative answers. De quién, whose. Do you know whose job it is? No, I don't know whose job it is. Do you know whose book it was? No, I don't know whose book it was. Do you know whose computer that was? No, I don't know whose computer that was. Do you know whose office the meeting will be in? No, I don't know whose office the meeting will be in. Do you know whose father was at the party? Somebody's father was there. Do you know whose father was at the party? No, I don't know whose father was at the party. Do you know whose teacher came along? No, I don't know whose teacher came along. Do you know whose brother he is? No, I don't know whose brother he is. Do you know whose pencil that is? No, I don't know whose pencil that is. Take it. I don't know whose it is, but it doesn't matter. Take it. I don't know whose pencil that is. Do you know whose class this is? No, I don't know whose class this is. Well, this is everybody's class. Anyone who wants to listen. This is yours. This is mine. This is ours. This is everybody's English class here on the radio. Do you know whose cat is on the floor? No, I don't know whose cat is on the floor. Do you know whose dog is in the studio? No, I don't know whose dog is in the studio. We actually have a dog that sometimes is in the, well, not in the studio, but in the office upstairs. There's a dog, and certain people here take turns walking the dog. Yeah. All right, let's move on now to something very important, present perfect and simple past. And here we can practice. We have in our student guide, we have a translation. It's a translation, and in fact it says, we will translate sentences at full speed, and this is what we've done on the television, and you can see some examples. The first example, el año pasado gané a 3 personas al tenis, pero este año no he ganado a nadie. In English, last year I beat 3 people at tennis, but this year I haven't beaten anybody. Okay? Now, there's also a note here which is important. The I have, the contraction I've. Okay, I've. The VE I've, which is basically a vocalized F. The secret to pronouncing the V is that it's a vocalized F. I've. So I have contracts to I've. But now, instead of doing it on the radio in a translation, here in our review class, I'm going to read a sentence, and I want you to repeat after me. Okay? And I think that this is a very powerful exercise. I have an exercise here that I think is very good that I took from the Vaughan Review a few years ago. I think 2004, actually. And this review, it's called The Crude Reality of Language Learning. It says, lee en voz alta la lista siguiente 5 veces cada día durante 5 semanas. Si no lo haces, no te quejes de que te falte agilidad oral con los verbos irregulares. So basically, read this out loud 5 times a day for 5 weeks. If you don't do it, don't complain if you lack oral agility with irregular verbs. And this was a very good exercise that it's just sentences. I did it twice last year, but I haven't done it so far this year. He went there 3 times last month, but he hasn't gone there this month. I've given this exercise to many students over the years, and they have gained tremendously. They've improved tremendously in terms of agility, moving between these key tenses. You see, the problem is, and I think this is a very good exercise, and the problem is so many people memorize go, went, gone, cut, 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 eat, ate, eaten. So they're speaking, they automatically go back to thinking in this system. But an exercise like this forces you to hear the sound, well, to say it en voz alta, reading it out loud. So you're forced to say these structures, and by saying them out loud, you internalize the grammar, and you develop a profound understanding of when you have to use the simple past and when you have to use the present perfect and what the proper conjugation is. So this is a good exercise. If you would like to receive a copy of this exercise, which is not in the student guide, send me an email. My email address is KMILLAR, Kamillar, KMILLAR, at Vausys, VAUSYS.com, KMILLAR, at Vausys.com. Send me an email and say, hey, Kyle, I want you. Can you send me that oral agility exercise, that exercise for improving agility with irregular verbs in the present perfect and simple past, and I will email it to you. So send me an email for asking for that. Also, if you send an email through the website, they should be able to sort you out as well. But say, Kyle was talking about this, and I'd like to get this exercise. But if you email me directly, I'll send this to you. So now I'm going to read some of it, and I'd like you to repeat after me. So I'm going to read a sentence, and then I want you to say it right after me. We beat them once last year, but we've beaten them 4 times so far this year. Okay? We've beaten them once last year, but we've beaten them 4 times so far this year. Very good. It was quite easy several years ago, but it has become more difficult in recent years. It was quite easy several years ago, but it has become more difficult in recent years. Recent, not recent, but recent. Good. He broke the world record twice last year, but he hasn't broken it yet this year. She brought me a coffee yesterday, but she hasn't brought me one today yet. She brought me a coffee yesterday, but she hasn't brought me one today yet. We built 3 sports complexes in the 90s. Polideportivos, sports complexes. We built 3 sports complexes in the 90s, but we haven't built any so far in this decade. We built 3 sports complexes in the 90s, but we haven't built any so far in this decade. We bought several new company cars last year, but we haven't bought any so far this year. We bought several new company cars last year, but we haven't bought any so far this year. Very good. Okay, I'm going to stop there, but this is the type of idea. You can create this. You can make your own sentences and repeat them over and over and over to gain agility, and it is better to do it that way. In terms of memorizing, it is better, really internalizing the structure. It's better to do it this way than it is to simply say, go, went, gone, cut, 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 teach, taught, taught, right? If you practice them in sentences, it will be easier, and you will more naturally come to the correct conjugation in speech, on the fly, right? In speech, without being prompted and without having to pause to go back to your memory bank of conjugations, okay? So, practice makes perfect. You got to do it, okay? Let's move on. Word of the day. It is time now for our word of the day. That's right, our word of the day today is abofetear. That's right, to slap. To slap, S-L-A-P, slap. To slap. Yes, so the verb to slap. Every day I slap, yesterday I slapped, lately I have slapped. See that P sound onto the T? No extra syllable. Slapped. Pt, pt. Slap. Slap. Slapped. Okay, yesterday I slapped. Very good. Okay, moving on now to the verb. A new verb here in 81, part 2 of Class 81. The verb to see. See, saw, seen. Every day I see, yesterday I saw, lately I have seen. Did you see a good movie last night? Yes, I saw a good movie last night. Did you see Natasha on TV yesterday? Yes, I saw Natasha on TV yesterday. Have you seen her so far today? No, I haven't seen her so far today, but I saw her yesterday. Did you see a ghost yesterday? No, I didn't see a ghost yesterday. Did you see lightning last month? No, I didn't see lightning last month. And so far this month? Yes, I have seen lightning once so far this month. Do you see your friends on the weekend? Yes, I see my friends on the weekend. Did you see them last weekend? Yes, I saw them last weekend. Have you seen the latest exposition in the Prado Museum? Yes, I have seen the latest exposition in the Prado. Have you seen all the Star Wars movies? Yes, I've seen all the Star Wars movies. See, saw, seen. Okay? Ver. Which is not the same as to watch. Okay? To watch is essentially making the effort to when you're watch is we will say with something that is moving, you're fixing your attention for an extended period of time on something involving movement, like a movie. You can watch a movie. You can see a movie as well, but you can watch a movie. We don't look at a movie. We watch a movie because we're fixed on it for an extended period of time. We watch a football game. Did you see it? Yeah, I saw the football match. But to see is essentially to visually notice a detail. Sometimes, right now, I'm looking out the window, but I don't see anything interesting. Sometimes I'm not looking, but I can still see something. Something moves very quickly by the window, and I saw that. I wasn't looking for it, but I saw it anyway. Vocabulary of the day. All right, yes, it is time for our vocabulary of the day. Our 5 words of vocabulary. The first word today, concurso. Concurso in English, contest. Contest. Sordo-mudo. Sordo-mudo. deaf mute. Deaf mute. Sordomudo. Why are deaf mutes mute? Why are deaf mutes mute? ¿Cómo? Why are deaf mutes mute? They have perfect vocal cords, but they're mute because they've never learned to speak, because they've never heard. They've never been able to hear. So while their vocal cords may be perfectly developed, they don't know what the language should sound like. So they've never been able to speak because they don't even know what their own voice should sound like, right? So this is why listening is so much more important than being able to speak. You have to understand that. You have to understand what you're hearing. You can't develop proper speech unless you develop comprehension. Okay? Extremadamente. Extremely. Extremely. Ardor de estómago. Heartburn. Heartburn. Gastos. Expenses. Expenses. Very good. Oh, there we go. Our 5 words. Concurso, contest. Sordomudo. ¿Cómo? Es deaf mute. Very good. Extremadamente. Extremely. Ardor de estómago. Heartburn. And gastos. Expenses. Very good. Translation. Oh, yes, you heard that sound. It is time for a little bit of translation. That's right. Translation list 19 now. And we will see. We only have 1 minute, so we'll do a few, and then we will review the rest tomorrow. The first one, siento que perdieras tanto dinero. I'm sorry you lost so much money. I'm sorry you lost so much money. Number 2, dime lo que estás pensando. Tell me what you're thinking. Tell me what you're thinking. Number 3, no dijeron a dónde iban. They didn't say where they were going. They didn't say where they were going. Number 4, ella estaba segura de que ganaría la apuesta. She was sure she would win the bet. She was sure she would win the bet. All right. Very good. We've only looked at 4 of the examples, but don't worry. We're out of time. We will finish now, but don't worry. We will come back tomorrow and we will review all of these, as well as all the new material. Well, we'll review all of this class and get through all of the sentences and look at the new material for Class 82. Okay, but I'll be back in a few minutes. We're going to go to a break. I'll be back in a few minutes with the advanced class. Thanks for listening. See you soon. Bye-bye.